Are you the cycle breaker? Are you the one who always is going against the grain, going against the tradition, going against the expectations of what your family or your friends, but mostly your family, would be doing? I want to talk about the importance of generational patterns and like interrupting generational patterns. I feel like I'm the cycle breaker in my family, in my generation, and in my family. And I would say the key things with interrupting generational patterns is getting comfortable with discomfort and like not fitting in or like just not being in the mix, right? Just getting comfortable with discomfort and being uncomfortable, and then being purposeful and living intentionally. And that means like being aware of things, paying attention to why you're operating, how you operate, why you're doing things, explaining and guiding rather than just like doing and controlling, and in regards to like your relationships with like kids or whatnot. Paying attention to how you're speaking, reframing your mindset, because a lot of our mindset, our patterns, our habits, our thoughts come from the conditioning of our childhood experience, our family dynamics, as well as our the conditioning of our parents and our grandparents, as well as the epigenetics, and the trauma that gets passed down from each generation. And so there's a lot that just like impacts us, and in our behavior, our mindsets, and everything. So we really have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and being challenged and being faced with accountability and honesty, and saying that like, yeah, we I did this for a long time, or we did this for a long time, but it's not really beneficial and it's not really working. I was just doing this because it's comfortable. I was just doing this because I saw my parents do this. I was just doing this because I saw my grandparents doing this. I was just doing this because that's just what we've always done. But why? What's your why? What's your reason? What's your purpose? How is this benefiting you? How is this impacting you? That's like the key and one of the major things to interrupting generational patterns. And the patterns show up in so many ways, like whether you're emotionally unavailable, whether you have control issues, whether you're too masculine or you're too feminine, or you overthink things, or you're people please, or you have a lack of boundaries, or you feel like you have to be the hero, or you have to live up to all these expectations, or how you communicate, um, how accountable you are. Like every single thing that you do, every single way that you think is impacted by your generational patterns. We are we are creations of our family or the people that we were raised around. We are that. So we need to be aware of becoming our own individuals and being intentional about that, and also being able to break the patterns and break the cycles that are no longer like benefiting us. We don't have to stay the same. Evolving and growing is a blessing. I promise. And so some things that show up in like while you're interrupting generational patterns, like it looks like pausing instead of reacting, when you're triggered. It looks like choosing curiosity and experiencing over control and just being scared to do things, or remaining in your comfort zone. It looks like listening to your child or your spouse, your partner, your sibling, your parent, instead of assuming ill intent, or assuming you know what they're going to say, or assuming you know their why, their reason, or what it means to them. Like, you can listen. It's okay to listen and be open before we just tell somebody what to do, or tell somebody they're right or wrong, or just decide that someone is right or wrong, or we don't agree with them. It also looks like regulating your nervous system before correcting like behavior. if if you're in an intense emotion and you're correcting behavior, chances are it's going to be an extreme correction, or a correction that doesn't really resonate with you in a balanced state. So regulating your nervous system, making sure you're emotionally balanced before like correcting, and choosing to commit to something. Um, we can also choose to not identify with our emotions. We don't have to become our emotions. They can just be signals, signs, and information for us, not necessarily a problem to fix or something to embody. We can also work on repairing things after we hurt them or rupture them or break them. We can learn to apologize and take accountability for our mess ups. Like, we're human. Perfection isn't real. We're all growing. We are all showing up in our best ways, hopefully, and doing the best that we can. And sometimes we're triggered. Sometimes we are overwhelmed. Sometimes we do respond from an emotional state, or sometimes, we just don't show up in our best self. And that's okay. Like, we don't need to beat ourselves up about it. We don't need to act like we are people who don't ever mess up. Like, we can apologize, we can repair, we can be accountable, and that's healthy, that's adult, that's mature, that's the good thing to do. That's the healthy thing to do. We can also learn to set boundaries without guilt or without over explaining. We can learn that no means no without needing a reason. We can learn that us feeling a certain type of way is a good enough reason, and that can just be our choice. We don't have to over explain or try to make people understand why we chose something. Like, let's say you want to do something different than what your parents want to do or what your family expects you to do. You don't have to over explain that and try to get them to understand. You don't have to answer all of their questions. You can just say, no, thanks, not today. That's not for me. I'm choosing something else. And it might feel crazy because you're used to people pleasing, or you're used to not having boundaries, or you're used to overextending yourself, overcommitting, or just going with the flow. But if you're not comfortable and you don't want to do that anymore, you're a grown adult. You can make that decision, and that's okay. Your parents made the decision to fall in line and continue the tradition, or maybe that is what they actually wanted to do. But that doesn't mean that's what you have to do. And you don't have to explain why you want different. If it feels aligned and you want to, and it feels good to you to do so, then fine. But you don't have to feel pressured to do so. And also, it's healthy to question the why of why we're doing things. It's healthy and it's okay to question how you were raised and why you're repeating a pattern or acting a certain way or why you think this way before, like, repeating it just because that's what you've experienced and that's what you're used to, that's what you've seen. And you don't have to feel guilty about that either. It's okay to change. Um, and also, like, teaching and getting familiar with emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, emotional language rather than like suppressing it. We don't want to be emotionally unavailable. We want to be aware of what we're feeling. We want to be able to process those feelings. Why are we feeling that way? Reflect on those things and adjust. Our emotions are signs and signals for us to pay attention to something, and that something needs to shift, that something is impacting us. So it's okay to feel that and acknowledge that. It's okay to create vulnerable, safe spaces to feel, to cry, to embrace your emotions, to scream, be mad. Don't physically hurt other people. Don't yell at other people and be verbally abusive. But if you need to go in your car and scream, if you need to go in your closet and punch a pillow, that's okay. If you want to teach your children how to emotionally regulate in a healthy way, that's great. Rather than telling them, you're a boy, don't cry. You don't need to cry. Get over it. That's creating emotionally unavailable children and repeating emotionally unavailable habits. So, it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to be mad, but we're still going to do this. Do you need time to go feel your feelings? Do you need time to be sad? Do you need time to be mad? Okay, well, come back to me when you're done, when you can talk to me in a nice way, when we can have healthy communication, when we can have healthy and happy emotions. Or healthy, maybe not just happy, because emotions aren't always happy and we want to feel all of them, right? But yeah, those are a couple of tips. And then just being a model of like trusting yourself, being a model of expressing yourself, being a model of emotionally regulating, creating safe spaces, communicating, trusting your intuition, setting boundaries, like being an example for your children to see, a healthy example, and not just saying because I said so, or like controlling and taking away the aspect of experience or guiding and supporting. There's a difference between control and support and guidance. So the because I said so isn't the healthy way of doing things. There's no why, there's no understanding, there's no compassion or patience there. And those are all things that are important with breaking generational patterns, um, and beliefs and mindsets and everything. And just remembering that you don't have to give in to pressure. You don't have to over explain. Knowing that it's good for you is good enough, but just communicate in a healthy way. So, those are my thoughts for today on how we can interrupt generational patterns and also paying attention and being self aware, learning, being open to knowledge, being open minded. We didn't really know about different energy types in human design and how our energetic design impacts us, how we communicate, how we think, how we operate, how we can maneuver on a daily basis. And so, gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom, learning, being open to therapy, being open to a professional helping you learn about yourself, being open to tools, being self aware, that's a major key. So if you're just now finding this video and you don't know about human design, there's 5 different energy types and they're all going to impact how you communicate, how you process, how you emotionally regulate, how you make decisions, how you show up in the world in your relationships. So it's very important to know that and get your child into that or your loved ones into that. Be the example. So go ahead to my website. You can use my free calculator to determine your energy type. Are you a generator, projector, manifesting generator, manifestor, or reflector? And then you can book a consultation so I can talk to you about how I'll support you on your journey of understanding yourself, your parenting journey, how to utilize your energy in an aligned way and align with your design so that you can thrive and empower yourself. Um, in this lifetime. So I hope you'll have a great day. Leave a comment, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.